Hi guys, I'm really hoping that I'm going to be able to fix the colour in this video because whenever I film in this room it's really blue. I might just put like a little clip in at the end of the colour because, I mean, actually the colour's coming back into my face now, but when I edit it, it's like night and day. The thing that I can see in the viewfinder right now is super blue, and then when I change it, it's hopefully a normal colour. So fingers crossed, but that's why I don't film in this room very often anymore. But like I say, it seems to be kind of neutralising now, so we'll see how it goes. I am going to do today my 5 top drugstore foundations, and in truth they are probably my 5 only favourite foundations, bar my NARS Sheer Glow, which is kind of a love-hate one because it doesn't last very long, but I love the colour and I love the finish. And the coverage and everything, I really like that foundation. However, for the money, I would expect it to last longer, so I'm not going to talk about that. I have 5 foundations from the drugstore that I really do like, and I'm actually really picky when it comes to foundations, and I'm not just talking like being able to find them for less money. I actually have rarely liked foundations that I've tried, no matter how much they've cost, and 90% of the foundations that I have are from the drugstore anyway, so it was much easier for me to talk about drugstore than high-end, as you would imagine, being Miss Budget Beauty and all. So I'm gonna, at the same time, show you my foundation routine. So the first foundation I will talk about is the one I'm gonna use on my face now, and that is the Revlon Colorstay. This is my current go-to foundation. Hopefully it won't be too distracting for you, but when I mentioned this on Twitter, yesterday, maybe the day before, someone, and I said like, which of these videos would you like to see? And someone said, well, I'd like to see both of these combined, and one of them was my foundation routine and one of them was my favourite 5 drugstore foundations. So I thought that's a great idea, we'll combine the two, and then at least this way I will actually be able to show you how I apply my foundation, and especially the Colorstay, because lots of people said, what is your foundation that you use? And I said Colorstay, and they said, well, you do a demonstration because I don't know how to use it, it looks really cakey. I actually just put 1 or 2 kind of shakes, how would you call that, onto my finger and put it in with my fingers. I found it's just easier than using a brush. I don't actually use as much, and I know that I'm looking in the viewfinder out now and not the lens, but that's because this is effectively my mirror at the moment. And I don't think that I actually use very much foundation day to day. I mean, Colorstay is very high coverage, so I kind of sheer it out a little bit. I don't put any moisturiser in or anything, but I don't put very much of it on. And effectively, that's pretty much it. I'll put a little bit of concealer under my eyes and stuff, but I don't have like this epic foundation routine. I don't use a special brush or anything, and I think that Colorstay at the moment is really perfect for my skin, because it's really oily but it's quite dry in patches, and it doesn't seem to cling to the dry patches, and it stays on all day. I got seriously rained on the way to work through the day. I got a completely drenched face and it was just perfect. It was amazing. I didn't bring any makeup with me to work, and everything stayed as it should, so that was pretty cool. Now I'm going to use my Collection 2000 concealer just under my eyes. And again, I just use my finger to kind of dab it out. I don't do anything special really, especially because I don't have a ton of time in the morning. I'm not gonna mess around trying to make things work. I want something that works for me quickly without having to be combined with other things, because I only have like 15 minutes to get ready in the morning, and then I film a little bit of my outfit of the day and face of the day, get the children ready, do the packed lunches, children to school and childminders, and then go to work. So yeah, I don't have tons and tons of time. If I wanted to cancel out any redness, at the moment I'm using my Urban Decay 24/7 concealer pencil, because the same as the Colorstay, this lasts a really long time. I don't have tons of redness at the moment, but I'll just put a little bit on to show you how I would do it. And that is really creamy, but again, it's kind of cream to powder, so it lasts a lot longer. And then I would just finish with a little bit of powder, if I can find it, which I use my Shine Control by 17. But oftentimes I don't actually powder, just because by the time I get to work, the powder part has actually gone, and this foundation doesn't need to be set so much. I do actually have a separate brush just for under my eyes, I don't feel like I can get the powder under my eyes with any other brush. Okay, that is me done. That is my face routine. That is my foundation. That's how I do it every single day. And because I have been doing the face of the day on my outfit videos, which I'll link below, people have been asking me a lot about Colorstay because I've been trying different foundations for my oilier skin, and that is definitely my favourite at the moment. So that is my foundation routine. That's my favourite foundation of the moment. But it does change all the time, dependent on how my skin is. And yeah, Colorstay lasts all day. It doesn't have to be cakey. It is quite high coverage, but I just use a little bit of it and make sure I cover everything. And just make sure that you get your right colour match, because when it is a really, really high coverage foundation like that, it is really obvious when you have the kind of tide mark around here. Luckily, no matter what it looks like on film, luckily that's nearly my perfect match. So what I normally do is then I'll put a little bit of bronzer on and I'll bronze my neck a little bit and everything, and it all blends in perfectly. But if you get something that's much too dark for you, it's going to be really obvious because it is so high coverage. It's just going to look like a full, thick line. So be careful of that. Very, very high coverage. I'm going to move on to the other 4 that aren't so high coverage. I'll talk about the one that's kind of medium first of all, which is Miracle Matte from 17. This is one that I was trying again because my skin was oilier. I haven't used it for quite a long time, 6 months plus, but I did like it when I first tried it. And it's quite thick again, medium to high coverage. It is buildable, and it says it's a matte satin flawless finish. I wouldn't say that's true, and I also wouldn't say that it's all day oil control. It's not as long lasting as the Colorstay, and I found that it'd go a little bit cakey. I definitely didn't need any kind of powder on top, and I think perhaps my skin should be oilier to use this. I think if you've got very oily skin, this could be amazing, but if you've got kind of combination skin with oily patches like I have at the moment, this really does cling to the dry patches, and it really did, I looked like I had a lot of powder on my face. So I really do like this, and I think it's a very, very good mattifying foundation, and for the right skin type this would work really, really well. But when I haven't got super oily skin, this is not amazing. So if you are looking for something, if you are oily T-zone or combination, maybe stay away from this. But if you're super oily, I think you'd really, really like this. The last 3 are really quite low coverage ones, and I've got the L'Oreal Lumi Magique, which is basically L'Oreal's version of NARS Sheer Glow in my opinion. Again, it doesn't last very long, but it gives a very, very similar finish. They don't have as many colour ranges, so this is a little bit out for me. This is a little bit too pink. But again, it gives you that lit from within look. It's kind of flawless. It's a very, very similar finish, as I say, and it's probably the closest thing that you're going to get to NARS Sheer Glow outside of the NARS counter. So I would recommend this if you're looking for a dupe of that, or if you're just looking for something a little bit glowy. Probably if you've got dry skin, this would be a bit better because it is kind of supposed to make you look a little bit dewy and give you that glow, whereas people that have got oilier skins try to stay away from that glow the most of the time. The next one you will be expecting me to talk about, which is Bourjis Healthy Mix Serum. I like the other one as well, and I think that if you are a combination, it's best to get both of them because you can mix them together dependent on how you're feeling that day. I personally have been using the other Healthy Mix more recently because I think that has got a bit more staying power, but this is always the nicest one. I put this on, I like the way it applies, I like the way it looks when it's applied, and I like the way it feels on my skin. 100% I prefer this one. However, the other one has more lasting power, so I would say get them both. You can mix them together and create your perfect hybrid foundation, because sometimes I'll put this and then I'll mix a little bit of the other one in and it gives this one a little bit more longevity, or vice versa if you just want a little bit more of a glowy look, if I'm feeling a little drier in my face. I think the two together, you could create your ideal foundation, but I just cannot decide which one's better for me because at the moment my skin doesn't know what it's doing. The last thing I'm going to talk about isn't technically a foundation, it is a BB cream, and this is kind of symbolic of both of the Garnier BB creams because I love them both. It just depends on how you're feeling. This again is for oily skin, and the other one, which is this one, which I actually have been using a bit more recently because my skin, it doesn't know what it wants to do. Again, you could mix them together, but they're such different formulas, I wouldn't. This is a little higher coverage, definitely buildable, completely different animal from the first, and I did review it separately, which I'll link below as well if I remember, which I never do. The only thing with this is it's got quite a high alcohol content. When I first put it on my skin, I could smell nail polish remover, and that's what it was the alcohol. And I think this broke me out, so I stopped using it, and I'm going to start using it again when I get a good primer or an SPF as kind of a barrier. Because I really love what this does. It does last quite a long time. Again, I didn't feel like I needed to powder on top, which is amazing for someone that has had very oily skin in the past and still suffers from an oily T-zone and really combination skin. But this was a very, very impressive product in general. Unfortunately, it did break me out, so be aware of that. Those of you that are prone to breakouts, I mean, to be fair, I'm not prone to breakouts, and I wouldn't have expected this to break me out because nothing ever does. But I think it was just that the high alcohol content dried my skin out so much that my skin then produced more oil than it would and broke me out. That's kind of how it worked, as opposed to it being, I don't know, too heavy on my skin or something. I think it just stripped it so much of oil that it didn't work for me. So again, I think this is more suitable to oilier skins than combination skins. Perhaps I'll use this on my T-zone and the original everywhere else, I don't know, but we'll see. They are my top picks. I know that I kind of gave you the cons of them as well, but that's just to be aware. They're not going to work for everybody. I can't tell you these 5 foundations will work for absolutely everyone. So hopefully that was useful. My Colorstay is my favourite right now, but that changes all the time, so, you know, I'll talk about different things in different favourite videos, and you'll be like, why, what happened to Colorstay? I just love it right now, and then I'll move on to something else. That's how it works. But right now I rediscovered it. I never used to wear it during the day, just on a night out, but right now, because I've come back to work, I know I keep repeating myself, sorry, right now. Because I've gone back to work and my skin is playing up a little bit and can't decide what it's doing, and it's oily and dry and whatever it wants to do that particular day, Colorstay seems to be just fixing it and keeping it where it's at all day long. So I'm absolutely loving it right now, and that is my big recommendation of the moment, and I hope that the application and everything was useful as well, because I know lots of people said they didn't know how to use it. And I'm going to go now because it's already longer than it needed to be, but hopefully it's not too long because I am like the queen of long videos. But I'll see you in my next video, and be sure to check out my vlog channel because I've started putting my outfit of the day videos on there as well.